workers of this Mississippi shipyard have a killer task.
Okay, hold that.
To thrash this heavy metal into a new kind of oil rig. A monster that defies hurricanes and preys on deep oil.
Hey, watch it.
But time is running out.
It becomes a nightmare.
And one false move could prove fatal.
It can be very dangerous with the weight that we're picking up.
Not just for these guys,
Cable!
but for every man on the rig.
Our lives are totally dependent on how this structure is made.
Mistakes in the shipyard will end up in the unforgiving sea. Right now on Extreme Engineering. "6 a.m., Vicksburg, Mississippi. It's heading toward 90 degrees. It's gonna be a scorcher. At the Laterno shipyard, this massive hull is the base of a new breed of oil rig. Monsters like this jackup rig are the workhorses of the oil world. Here's how the design works. After it's dragged to a drilling site, powerful motors drive the legs down into the seafloor, then jack up the entire rig above the reach of hurricane waves. Next, the derrick slides into position and the workers begin to drill.
Pumping a weighted sweep right now, so you're gonna be getting a whole lot of trash and stuff back. You might start losing a little bit of mud.
If they hit oil, they'll cap the well, jack the rig down, and then tow it to its next location. And a permanent drilling platform will take over pumping the oil. This is one of Laterno's Gorilla-class rigs. A 32,000-ton beast engineered to withstand the tortures of the North Sea. At the shipyard, the company is building a whole new class of rigs, similar to the Gorilla, but with even greater drilling muscle and a more economical, compact form. The Tarzan-class rigs are designed to find deep oil in the Gulf of Mexico, where the shallow oil has already been found. The Tarzan can drill over 7 miles down, a depth most other rigs can only dream of. They've already built one Tarzan. They need to crank out 3 more. Fast. At stake, a huge advantage in the race for deep Gulf oil. It's production manager Bodie Massey's job to build the second Tarzan.
Pull on it over there, Vernon. Pull on.
And time is running out.
Coming down.
Bodie and his team have just 10 months to turn these thousands of huge pieces
Get out there.
into a lean, mean drilling machine. So far, they've built the inner walls of the rig's hull. A triangle, each side the length of a hockey rink, with a hole at each corner for the legs. A drilling derrick still needs to be built, along with living quarters for the crew, a helipad, and 3 legs to hold up the hull. Tarzan rigs can earn $100 grand a day. But as long as the rig is unfinished, it isn't making money, it's costing money. The first Tarzan came in at $110 million bucks. The cost of 2 Boeing 737s.
Coming down.
Bodie's under orders to nail this one for $20 million less.
Oh, you got to go to the other side, Roosevelt. Carry them to the other side.
To stay on budget, Bodie's got to stay on schedule.
Different things can get you behind, not having the materials, not having drawings on time. Also, weather has some condition on us. If we start falling behind, you can get into trouble real quick. Hey, Mac.
It's tough to make a jack-up rig, but it's even tougher to move one.
Once we get the rig in complete condition, we use its legs and mechanical jacking units to walk it into the Mississippi River.
They walk the rig by raising and lowering the legs. And then, tugboats will pull the rig 400 miles downriver, where workers will attach the drilling derrick, add on more sections to the legs, and tow it out into the Gulf above a likely oil deposit. When it's jacked up, the rig's 15,000-ton weight will bear down on its 3 legs and feet, called spud cans. And completing one of the new Tarzan's spud cans, all 250 tons of it, is at the top of Bodie's to-do list.
We want to make sure we got everybody that's involved in it knows what's going on.
Once they finish building it, they'll try to lift it into this hole in the hull, where a leg will be assembled on top of it. But lifting and placing spud cans are the heaviest and most dangerous maneuvers of the entire build.
You know, anytime you're handling that kind of load, if you had a mishap of a load falling, it could be pretty dangerous and fatal in some cases.
Today, 3 days before the scheduled lift,
Here they come, here they come, here they come.
the crew is working feverishly to finish welding the spud can.
The first spud can is supposed to be set on the 14th of June. And if we make that date or beat that date, we're doing okay. But if we start falling behind, the only way to compensate is to work more hours and work overtime, which costs more money. Hey, John.
Production manager Bodie Massey is one heck of a general, and he came up through the ranks.
I've been working here 23 years, and I welded right beside a lot of these guys. What's going on, Earl? And I know their wives, their kids, we're like a family. Nah, you won't hurt it? I won't hurt it. Nah, you doing all right? I'm doing pretty good.
This spud can lift is going to be his biggest challenge so far on this build.
Maybe we're going to have to go 36 foot to have 2 more outlets.
Everything seems to be running according to plan. Until...
Get low. Yeah, what's going on, Larry?
an emergency in the Gulf of Mexico has shut down drilling on one of their rigs. And only Bodie can fix it.
All right, well, let me start getting something going. All right, bye.
Bodie's absence is not good news.
He's
going to be missed. This is his yard. These are his people. And it just means that all of the supervisors, all of the various supervisors he has, just have to pick it up a notch. They just have to step up a little bit.
Someone has to direct the spud can lift.
We're about ready for our little meeting.
And the burden falls on Tom Smith.
One set up for the air tugger. Roy, you watch them. I got different ones I need.
He's never headed up a lift like this before, but he's a 20-year veteran of the yard.
Need you on standby to go up, maybe unhang it off of a wall.
Tom's a man of few words.
Everything went good, so yeah.
If Tom's nervous, he's not showing it. His first task is to make sure the workers finish building the spud can on time.
He got one more beam to bring in. He got to come right through here.
Aside from the tight schedule, Tom's worried about the storm heading toward Vicksburg. And then there's
The mosquitoes around here, they get pretty bad. They big ones, little ones, and when they go to biting, they can leave webs on you pretty good, especially down here by the Mississippi River.
But right now, their worst enemy is the heat. Out here, it's 90 degrees. Inside the spud can, temperatures can hit 140.
Sometimes it can get unbearably hot in there. You have to come out, get cooled off, go back in, work as long as you can.
After 8 weeks of welding, the interior is done. Now they've got to put the lid on it.
Well, there's a segment of the spud can top that is rigged up that's hanging right here. And we're fixing to pick it up and lay it in place and start fitting it in and trimming it in.
In his off hours, project manager Hugh Smith's a cowboy with a stable full of horses. So roping a 3-ton piece of the roof should be no problem for him and his crew. But
We run out of fuel.
We've got a crane that's run out of fuel. We've got guys that, supposed to check things so that in the morning, here it is, it's almost 9 o'clock, got a lift to make over on the slab, and the crane's down.
finally, the tank is full. But with a 3-ton slab dangling overhead, there's no room for more mistakes.
Cable. Hey, Mac, got a little malfunction going there. We're twisted. Hey, he said set it back down.
It's dangerous to have it twisted when you got a heavy load on it like that. You have to get it down and untwist it and everything. It can get out of hand real quick.
But just when they think they've got it,
You got to untwist it though again. Right back where we started from.
finally the load is airborne. Now they have to try to make it fit.
That's very hard to do, and it's 7/8 thick material, and all of these beams that you see have got to fit and line up. So it's just a lot of fitting and it's a lot of trimming to get it worked done in there.
It'll take hours to get it right.
Pick it back up.
And that is just one panel on one spud can. Meanwhile, across the yard, another crew is building the rig's 3 legs. Each leg is a web of 576 joints of pipe. The entire weight of the rig rests on its legs. So a crack in any of the joints could be disastrous. Only the best welders get to work on the legs. The job requires powerful biceps and a macho disregard for burns. Getting it right sometimes takes a woman's touch.
Hold up. I've never been in front of a camera before. I don't know. Okay. It's a lot of weight that has to go on these legs. And they have to have a good weld. I mean, I don't want to be out there with a bad weld.
It's hot, dangerous work with nowhere to hide from the spray of sparks.
Well, you can look at this shirt and tell I done got burned a few times. Yeah, and when you do get burned, it do hurt. Don't think it don't hurt. It really hurts. And it's severe, but you shake it off and keep on going.
They attach each leg piece to the structure like a massive erector set.
So look at there, it's a perfect fit.
Good fit.
Take all the pipes in just one leg, lay them end to end, and they'd span 30 football fields. This week, the spud can lift is the main event. But the Tarzan's looming launch date has all the crews hustling. This structure is one wall of the living quarters. The future home to dozens of drillers, roughnecks, and roustabouts.
It may be hard to believe, but this is going to be the quarters building for the rig when it's operating offshore. It's got a full galley and mess room for feeding all these people. It's got recreation room, offices, control room, and cabins to house all these people.
We're gonna cut a piece of pipe and glue it up.
It's a little different from residential.
To Chief Engineer Mike Dowdy, each part of this raw space has meaning.
This will be the galley and storeroom. The mess room is through here.
Well, now you can smell the welding process going on. When you get offshore, it'll smell like fried fish and steaks and baked potatoes.
But his Tarzan is still a long way from serving up grub. And Tom Smith is spread thin covering for Bodie. He's got more on his mind than spud cans. Like this piece of the hull's inner wall, the last line of defense in a collision with a ship. If the outer wall is breached, the inner wall will hold back the sea.
Might have to swing just a little bit.
Move it down a little bit, Turner.
This is gonna be a little harder piece to fit because it's tying in 2 other pieces that's already there. It may take us 2 hours to get it in place, and it may take 2 days to get it in place.
The seal will have to be watertight.
Hey, Clem, rig up something on that end and pick that end up to make it, pick this whole wall up? Yeah, make it level up and it come in here easier.
They're having trouble with the fit. These handles will have to go. More adjusting and readjusting,
My toy line over here too.
inch by inch. After a 10-hour day, the team heads home. the work can't stop. The night crew will keep the torches burning until nearly dawn. Out at sea, a rig is a fortress, surrounded by sharks and barracuda, assaulted by hurricanes, and vulnerable to fire.
The rig itself is a tangled mass of smoldering steel this morning, split down the middle by the powerful explosion.
Lives literally depend on how well the rig is constructed. This Gorilla-class rig is a stronghold, designed to endure in the harshest environments. A 32,000-ton monster that can hunt down oil 7 miles below the seafloor.
You ready to drill? All right. Go ahead and rotate.
Everyone on the rig is there to support this single activity. A tungsten carbide drill searching below the seabed for black gold. The drill churns up gravel and sand, which is jettisoned back into the sea, leaving a long white trail.
Okay, look, we're pumping a weighted sweep right now.
Until they hit oil, they will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Up to 120 of them, all working and sleeping here.
All right. 10:30, man. 10:30, wake up, dog.
And every day begins with a visit from Little Joe Odom.
10:30, my man. Well, he's not fully dressed, so.
You're not filming these guys in their shorts, are you?
Nope. 10:30, my man. 10:30. All right.
10:30 may sound like a late start, but these men won't get off until midnight. It's sweaty, back-breaking work.
What I'm saying is I may have to back my pumps off.
2 straight weeks of 12-hour days. Everything out here is a major production, even taking out the trash. But there are compensations.
Get good money, got the 2 weeks off, do what you want. Most people only have 2 weeks vacation a year. We get it every month.
And there's the 4-star food.
We have steak, french fry, barbecue chicken. We have cheese sauce, we have mushrooms, we have sauteed onions. Plus we have the full salad bar. Always stop.
The steaks are grilled to order.
Thank you, sir.
Because the last thing the company wants is a mutiny over lousy grub. The rig may be home, but everyone knows there's danger all around. Oil is extremely flammable, and the nearest emergency room is 100 miles away.
Everything we do these days, we like to do it safely because human lives are so much more important than anything that we could do out here.
And lives have been lost on oil rigs.
Offshore oil rigs caught fire and exploded during 16 workers are confirmed dead there. More than 150 are missing, and they are presumed.
Most suffered from burns when an explosion tore the oil platform apart.
In an emergency, These high-tech lifeboats, each equipped with a satellite beacon, can hold and feed 50 people. But the best defense is the rig's construction.
Our lives are totally dependent on how this structure is made. But these legs are so tough that if a boat runs into it, I've seen many boats that when they hit them, they were torn up, and I hadn't seen damage to a leg yet.
A strong rig is a safe rig. Designing strong rigs is the job of Chief Engineer Mike Dowdy. He's at home on a rig, but his real home is on land with his engineers.
And we relocated this access hole too, I believe.
Thousands of lives depend on their calculations.
Structure during the course of the project. So let's take a look at the 250-foot water depth case.
All right, I got this one set up to be about 50
The team subjects a virtual Tarzan to a virtual storm.
The geometry of your model is accurate and the stiffness of the hull to leg connections.
They're analyzing the effects of a 40-foot wave.
So that's what it's going to look like.
They've designed the rig to sway in a high wind, just like a skyscraper.
Yeah, that's great.
It's better to bend than to break. Back in the shipyard, the engineer's equations dictate the thickness of the steel for the hull, which grade of steel to use, and how to build a leg that won't buckle. And Mike Dowdy keeps refining the design.
It's repeated so many times in the leg structure.
In the yard, Mike can see his calculations in action.
Well, look here. What do you got out here? This area right in here is what I'd like to see if we can't take some of this off.
There's always a tug of war between engineering and construction.
But if we do what you're talking about, I ain't gonna have no room for error.
I think we can do a better job than this, though. 2 inches of excess material.
But Mike can learn a lot from a shipyard veteran like Mike Dotson.
Fish plate happened to be off center just a little or leaning just a little.
They don't mind telling you how they see it, you know. So you have to get used to constructive criticism.
It's not just design that dictates safety.
Now you got 1.25 inches right there.
It's also the quality of the steel. To control quality, the company makes its own. This is the hottest place on the property. Temperatures in the furnace approach 3,000 degrees. Chemical compounds help strengthen the steel. This 27-ton ingot is being pressed into a plate of steel just 6 inches thick. It takes heavy metal like this to hurricane-proof a rig. The thousands of plates required to make a rig are cut with a 2,800-degree torch.
This is the cut shop, and all of the parts that go into the components of the rig are originated in this shop, and they're cut here. If it's not right here, if it's not cut properly here, if the material analysis is not right here, then when it gets into the yard, onto the slab, into the spud can, it becomes a nightmare.
And that's just what these guys don't need, especially as Tom prepares to take on the most dangerous lift. It's just 2 days to the big spud can lift.
You can go around that way, but put it on a very...
Bodie Massey is still away, and the pressure is getting to Tom.
Hey,
Y'all come down the ladder where you can pull on it.
There's that storm heading straight for Vicksburg.
Sun's shining right at the moment, but it could come up a cloud and go to raining.
Tom wants to clean and prep the spud can before the storm hits. But he's got to wait for a green light from these guys. Quality control. A flaw in the can would be catastrophic. As one of the Tarzan's 3 feet, it will bear more than 3,000 tons. That's the weight of 160 Sherman tanks. First, they dust the welds with metallic powder. Running a magnet over the powder makes it gather at gaps in the welds, revealing any surface cracks. To find cracks below the surface, they need the ultrasonic testing graph.
It's an ultrasound check similar to sonar, where it sends a sound out and it picks up a defect and it sends it back.
If there are cracks, the QC team will hunt them down. They'll inspect every single weld on the rig, and there are literally millions of them.
So this weld is acceptable. It is good.
It takes hours, but the QC team finally gives its okay. Tom's crew starts tearing everything they no longer need off the top of the spud can.
It can get dangerous. Most of the time you don't want to think about it. You just do your job. You just do what you can, keep yourself safe and keep everybody else as safe as you can.
They're 30 feet off the ground. A fall from here could kill a man.
Y'all ready?
Tom's plan is to lift the spud can off its support braces and lower it to the riverbank so they can clean the bottom before lifting it into the hull.
Skeeter got some help on that side?
First, they've got to tie the can to the cable of a towering crane.
Okay, Thomas, let's start easing back down.
The can weighs more than a 747.
Ease over this other side.
If the rigging isn't right, the spud can could turn into a widowmaker real fast.
It can be very dangerous with the weight that we're picking up, and we do it careful. We take our time, don't get in no hurry. I want to live like this.
We got it now, I think.
Then, with 250 tons overhead, the crew knocks out the support braces. The only thing keeping the can from crushing the workers and our anxious cameraman is the strength of the rigging. The crane holds, but their luck doesn't. The storm suddenly strikes. Tom has no choice but to scrap the lift for today, which means time and money down the drain. By the next morning, the storm has passed.
Yeah, it's pretty funky. Let's go back that way.
Dusty one day and muddy the next.
By afternoon, it's 92 degrees. And the ground is bone dry. Tom's anxious to make up for lost time.
Y'all ready?
Bodie's still away, so Tom turns for help to another shipyard veteran.
Hey, ready, Jerry?
Jerry Spites taught Tom everything he knows. And after 38 years in the yard, there's not much Jerry doesn't know.
Our weather's good, and it ain't gonna get no better. Roy, you ready?
I'm ready. All right, Thomas, let's start easing up.
At its widest, the spud can covers more than 1,300 square feet.
Slow and easy to the right.
That's one big, ugly foot.
Okay, Thomas, let's easy there and boom up where it gives enough room to ease it down right there. We need to come back this way a little bit.
I think we're good right here. We come down on it.
The Eagle has landed.
Our crane operator made another beautiful lift. Did y'all witness?
Now they'll be able to clean the bottom of the can before lifting it into the hull.
We'll do the rest of our grinding and get it ready to sit. All right?
This was an easy lift compared to tomorrow's mission. In Vicksburg, it's time to head home. But out in the Gulf of Mexico, the Gorilla 6 is home. With no alcohol and no women, crew member Zaza Gaguchazi has to find something to do.
It looks like no fish today.
Catching anything?
Today.
Nothing?
Nothing good today. No bite, nothing.
Something you must be doing wrong. Let's see what you got here. And yesterday? Day before?
No, last 2 days I was fishing.
And they probably went away then.
3 days ago?
Curtis Bertha spots the problem.
Can't catch no fish with no bait.
Maybe tomorrow will be a better day.
Spanky!
Today's the big day. Tom and his crew will attempt to lift the spud can and inch it into the yoke. The yoke is a hole in the hull that functions as a sleeve for the spud can and leg to pass through.
They'd be better off in that middle one anyway.
The lift sounds straightforward, but in reality, it's an incredibly precise operation, positioning a 250-ton hunk of steel with only millimeters to spare.
There's 3 sets of guides on the inside of that yoke, and it's real important that that can, when we start dropping that spud can down, that it lines up inside of all of those guides.
We're gonna have to have it. Do we need that one? Put them in that one.
Tom Smith is willing to admit he's worried.
It'll make you nervous when you're picking up 500,000 pounds.
Come in, Thomas.
Now Tom has to rely on crane operator Thomas Richardson.
Well, I do get nervous every now and then when, especially when you have to take the crane to its limit. Anytime I pick something up like that for my life in my hand.
With 15 years of heavy lifting under his belt, he's the best man for the job.
It's a 529,000-pound lift, and crane has got an excessive amount of capacity for this lift. However, as is always the case on any lift, there are always issues that are unforeseen and things could occur.
All right, we're getting ready to make this lift here.
Tom goes over the battle plan.
All right, we're gonna be careful. We're gonna take our time. Thomas, we're gonna ease it up, take it real slow and easy, and have a safe lift here this morning. Every time we get ready to make a big lift, we all pretty got a little itch and nervous, and to make sure everything goes well, that nobody gets hurt.
including the camera crew.
You're going to be filming this lift of the spud can, and Tom and Jerry have insist that you be in the basket, in the crane, out of the way.
The camera crew knows better than to argue.
Okay, here we go.
And we have liftoff.
You got too much pull on it, Greg.
Tom watches from one angle,
I'm all around here.
while Jerry looks on from a more precarious position.
Everything pretty calm there, Thomas. Just easy around to your right. Getting close there, Thomas. Just a little bit further. Hold Greg right there. Slow it down there. That cord right there has got to come in the center of that box. Watch your tugger, Roy, because we're going to be booming down. Thomas, easy to the right, just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like you need to boom up over here.
Let's just hold what we got just a minute. Let me rock it one thing to the left. Okay, Thomas, easy right just a little bit. I got my plate there started in the top guide.
When the spud can touches the yoke, Jerry sees that something's gone wrong.
Okay, I'll stop a minute.
They've forgotten to close the manhole covers, and they're hanging over the side.
Yeah, let me put these lids on. I won't take a chance tearing them up.
With the covers jutting out, the spud can won't fit.
Woo! Somebody bring a crescent wrench and y'all come on up.
We just overlooked the manhole covers. The next one, we'll have the lids out of the way. You learn the hard way.
With the manhole covers wrestled into place, Thomas begins lowering the spud can inch by inch into the yoke.
Yeah, just keep it snug. Don't let it get too tight. Ease down on your wings just a little bit.
I think we're hitting something.
All right, hold what you got, Greg.
The can is too close to the edge.
Jerry, too far that way.
Thomas guides it over the bullseye.
Okay, hold that. Easy down just a little.
Finally, the spud can touches down.
Good job.
Mission accomplished.
So it went well?
Went well. Went well. Another good lift. What you observed, just an ordinary work day.
The next day, Bodie returns from the Gulf of Mexico.
Successful job, yeah. Yeah, got the rig back up and running, and they went back to drilling. Every day there's fires that have to be put out. 30 to 26. Come in, Tom.
Bodie's pleased with Tom's work, but he's ready to take charge again.
Let's do it, guys. Tom, go ahead and hook that.
They'll need 2 cranes and a lot of muscle to heave this leg piece on top of the spud can.
Pull on it over there, Bernie. Pull on.
This giant skeleton is only one of 49 pieces that will make up a leg.
Bobby, you probably won't let it turn a little, though.
Ease up on your hook and burn down. All right, hold your hook there. We're going down in the chute now, Tom.
Now the leg is in position, ready to be welded.
Yeah, everything went real smooth and real good. Didn't take but probably less than 20 minutes.
Bodie's back in action, and Tom had a great week. it's time to party. At Manda's Roadhouse Bar, the beer is cold and the music is homegrown Delta blues. Last week was a success, but they still have a long way to go. If all goes well, next April, the Tarzan will walk to the Mississippi, travel down the river, and take its place among the 100 jack-up rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. But until that day, Bodie and his men must fight to stay on schedule.
Watch it.
And steer clear of disaster.
Yeah, I worry about it some at night, and try not to worry about it too much because I plan on doing this type work a long, long time, and too much worrying can get you.
So far, Bodie's attitude has served him well. In 10 months, his men should finish this powerful drilling machine. A rig that will help win the race for deep oil in the Gulf of Mexico.